Hello, we are the CapMetro team. There are 9 of us, and we are making a web application which is to display bus routes and help for the busing system in Austin, Texas. We are going to be hosting, and we have started hosting this application on DigitalOcean. And Seisha can take it over from here in showing you the functionality of the front-end web application.
Hi, my name's Seisha. I'm one of the front-end team members. I've been working on features like autocomplete, displaying the bus icons, the routes, the bus stops, and stuff like calculating the scheduled arrival time and the delay. So we are using the Google Maps API, and we have a API key that we're using to display the map. We have the default options enabled, so we can switch to satellite or the regular map. We also have Street View and navigation. We have added this My Location button. When we click on it, it asks for our location, and then we click on Allow this time, and then it pans to our location. When the map first loads, it automatically pans to the Austin area. We have set the coordinates to be Austin downtown. Um, all right, so now we got the basic features and let's start talking about the routes. So you can see that we have a modal right here. So we can hide the modal and we can open it back up. When we click on a particular route, it's gonna open up, it's gonna display the northbound route by default. And we can switch to the southbound routes if we want to. When Once the route is displayed, we can zoom in and we can click on the bus icon, and you can see it displays information about the bus. This is the this is the route name. This is the route number, the bus number, next stop, and the scheduled arrival time, which is 12:05 p.m. Since this time is still in the future, our delay is 0 minutes. So that's a good thing. We have also implemented the feature of displaying the heading of the bus, where the bus is exactly pointing. So you can see over here that this bus is pointing this way and it's going this way. So um, once a bus reaches a stop, you can click on it and it would say the bus is stopped at so and so location, and you can also see that the bus stops do indeed match. So this is 4413 Guadalupe Street. So this is the same thing, 4413 Guadalupe Street. If in case the buses don't have a bearing, um, it is indeed possible with the GTFS data that we are grabbing. If the heading is not possible, we just set it so that it's pointing straight up. Um, so you can see that since the bus is stopped, there is no heading for it. So it's simply pointing straight up. Uh, Clarissa, one of our other front-end team members, uh, helped us categorize all of the routes with the different colors. So we have total of 72 routes with one rail line included. Um, Let me just pull up the rail line. It's line 550. So we have a different set of icons for the rail line. So you can see that it's kind of like a train. When you click on it, it's a train icon and it says train number instead of bus number. And you can see the same statistics: scheduled arrival time, delay. As of right now, we have the scheduled arrival time to be in 24-hour format. We are planning on changing it to 12-hour format. And the delay is calculated every single time the bus location is updated. And yeah, we also have the feature of showing all the routes. So let me just click on it, and it's a little bit chaotic. It's all the routes, all the buses that are running right now with all the stops. Um, and when we click on hide all, it just hides everything. Uh, so one of the feature that I implemented today was actually the refresh feature. It basically stores which routes have already been selected, and it stores it across refreshes using the local storage option. So if I select this route and northbound, when I refresh the page, it's still going to be selected. And you can see that since I had this modal open, it still had it open. So that's another feature that I implemented. Um, yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it for the routes. Let's talk about the autocomplete suggestions feature now. Um, this is basically a search feature to search up like a location. So let's say we're searching up Texas A&M. We can just click on it and it's gonna drop a pinpoint. It's gonna drop an advanced marker at that location, and it's gonna pan all the way to that location. Um, we are using the viz.gl component library, which is supported by the Google Maps developers. So we had two options. One was the React Google Maps library from npm, which is actually open community, so it's maintained by non-Google developers. So we just decided to go the safer route and choose vis.gl, um, and it's been working pretty good so far. Yeah, apart from that, we have other pages like the Explore page. This is simply um, elementary now. We don't have anything in here yet. We do plan on developing stuff for this in the coming sprints. We have the plan trips page. Favorites page is supposed to display the favorite routes, which can be selected using this star icon. Of course, the functionality is still to be implemented, and we also have a login system. This feature has already been implemented and implemented by Clarissa. We're still in the testing phase of it. But I think that's pretty much it. Adriana, do you think we should show a little bit of the code?
Sure, whatever you think is beneficial. We can like show how it's like set up in the code structure and how we began so we can get like some of the technical aspects shown, and then we can pass it over to Harsh so he can show the back end.
Yep. Okay, so to go through VS Code, we have three separate folders, a backend, a database, and a frontend. We decided to keep our work separate by making separate branches for each feature. Um, so if I'm working on the live bus location, I would um, uh, create a separate branch off of a main branch or a development branch, and I would work on that. And then once it's done, once it's fully tested, I would push it to the development branch. We have three main development branches. One called development, one called dev frontend, and one called dev backend. So development is a combination of dev frontend and dev backend, and dev frontend and dev backend, as the name suggests, they are completely separated branches just for the frontend and the backend. Okay, so inside our frontend folder, we have the node modules and our source folder. Some images like the bus image, and we have the pages. That's going to be explore favorites, all of that stuff. Routes, we are using a browser router, which is basically, yeah, we're using this routes component that helps us to helps us to change between pages. And we have the style sheets. CSS style sheets. Apart from that, that's pretty much it in terms of the folder structure. Our main app starts here, where we have the browser router from React Router DOM and routes component, and our app routes component is going to be um, or it should be here, yeah. So this is our app routes component, and we have the different routes to home, explore, plan trips, favorites, and a 404 page not found. So this is our landing page, the home page. We have a few imports like the markers and the map controls, the map from vis.gl, all the components that we need, the nav bar, location button, route selector. Route selector is basically this entire thing. And then we have some imports for our data. Stops file is basically all the stops that are there in the CapMetro system. We decided to have a file instead of a fetch request. We thought it would be less load on the backend. Um, and this is our main component itself. Once it loads, it makes a request to the backend, which categorizes all the stops by the route name. And then we have a few use state variables for login. And then we have the API provider for the map itself. All of the stuff is inside the API provider. So this is for the nav bar. Map control helps with the positioning. So when I say top, it brings it up here in the top of the website. And the map itself, you can see the default center is Austin coordinates. And we have the location button, which is our get user location right here. Then finally we have the route selector, which is on the left center. So that's this one. And how are we doing on time here? Okay. Um, so if we go into route selector, um, basically we have this toggle option. So um, when the modal is hidden, we have this button, and that is handled with this state. So we have a modal and a set modal, and we return the modal if the modal has been selected. Let me Yeah. So this is the button. This is a route selector button. If the modal is hidden, the button's visible. And you can see on click, we set the modal to true. And then um, this is the modal itself. This entire thing is a modal itself. I'm using a bunch of context providers so that I don't have to be prop drilling. This context provider is to enable the functionality of the show all and the hide all. This variable is basically a list of booleans, which indicates if a certain route has been selected or not. Um, and this routes context provider basically gives all the information that's needed for one specific route. So for one specific route, all the information that's needed, such as the points required to plot the line itself, the route itself, the stops locations, the northbound stops, the southbound stops. And of course, when we are iterating over since we are iterating over 72 routes, we need a key and the individual route card, which is this one single route card, is being rendered um, for each route. And if we go inside the individual route card, we have um, We have information such as the the route name, the route number. Then we have the radio buttons for the northbound, and the southbound, and the respective local storage updates when we click on these icons and when we click on the individual route card itself. And Um, yeah, this is what's displaying the route line, the polyline element, and this is imported from. This was actually grabbed from Vista.gl again. Um, and then we have the custom stop marker info window and the custom bus marker info window. The info window is basically the ones that pull up when you click on the icons. Um, these are also pulled from an extension of the marker info window from viz.gl. Um, and basically, we just uh, we just take this um, bus positions file. Um, this is that file which we grab from the backend every 15 seconds because that's the interval. We grab that and we filter out for our route ID and our direction ID. So it will give us all the buses that are on that route with that direction, which is either northbound or southbound. So there'll be a different set of buses for the southbound when on the same route. Um, and you can see how we're passing in the bearing and the position and the status, if it's in transit, if it's not, if it's stopped at a location, what the next stop is, trip ID, all that stuff. And if we go to bus marker info window, you can see the information gets rendered here. You can see how we're calculating the delay, how we're getting the stop time for that next stop. We are filtering it out with the, so I want the next stop ID, but match it with the trip ID. And yeah, again, we're using the advanced marker. We're using icons from the React icons library. And the info window is from viz.gl. If I find it here, yeah, viz.gl right there. Mm, and it's pretty much the same thing for we have some conditional rendering here. If there's a stop time, we say, oh yeah, there's a scheduled arrival time. If there's no stop time, we just say NA. If the bus is stopped, we say stopped at this location. If it's not stopped, if it's in transit, we display the delay, the stop time. Um, Let me pull up the stop marker. Pretty much the same thing, except we don't have any of the stop times. We just display the stop name and the stop ID. In the future, we're planning on displaying if there is wheelchair accessibility. This information is already in the backend. It's just a matter of grabbing it and displaying it. Apart from that, we we have the nav bar. This was made by Clarissa with all
Hey,
the
Shesha.
yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, but we might want to wrap it up. I think we
Yeah.
have like 2 minutes left.
All right. Okay.
Just a warning, that's all.
Just the nav bar with all the buttons, the location button icon, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the front end. We have covered all the components and all the context hooks, so we're good. I'll hand it over to Harsh then.
Cool. Thank you very much. I will take it over. Do you mind if I share the screen?
Yeah, I can just stop sharing it.
Thank you. Mhm. Howdy, my name is Phil. So, as the co-lead for CapMetro, I've been given the opportunity to lead the backend development, and it's been smooth sailing so far, thanks to our wonderful team. So far, we have designed an efficient PostgreSQL database and built several API endpoints, including a few custom ones tailored to front-end needs. We're connected the database to backend using CRUD operations and successfully linked front end to the backend via HTTP methods. We're still we were still working through some deployment issue, but just as of 2 hours ago, we were able to successfully deploy our backend as well. I will show that shortly, but first I want to get just a little bit of overview of our database. So our database currently hosts the static GTFS data. We handpick only the relevant files, and while it may look like we copied all the data directly, we chose to keep almost everything since the data size is small and some field might be useful later on. So our schema follows the GTFS structure pretty closely, but we added a lot of foreign key constraint to enforce relationship like uh, trips linking to routes and stop times to both stops and trips. So linking these like helps maintain data integrity and makes it easier to run meaningful queries. Moving on to our backend development or backend deployment. So right now it will say not found because only thing that's deployed is the backend. So for us to actually call the data and see if it's bringing us anything, let's try an API dot route. So was I sharing the wrong screen? Were I able to see a database design?
Yeah, we were able to see the database design. Yeah, we can.
Database
Okay.
design, and now you're just sharing your screen, so now we see also the data.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I was wrong. Wrong screen. My bad. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So this is the data. As you can see, I'll restart just to rewind a bit again. So this is what you get if you just look at the link. But if you do slash API slash routes, then you'll see all the routes data that we get from one of the APIs that we made. Let's see. Stop. So this is the API that stops. So this calling this backend API right over here, which basically gets all the stuff from our database. Along with that, we have a couple of specific routes, like Shesha mentioned, like API slash routes, which gets all the stops along a route. Let that be either northbound or southbound. So that's our RESTful API methods. We do have two major scripts that I do want to just shed some light on, which is get real-time fetcher, which basically gets uh, real-time bus location every 15 seconds. This was made by May, and GTFS fetcher, which this checks if our GTFS data is updated recently, because there is no pattern of like it's not updated on a schedule; it's just updated as needed. So Keisha made a script that actually checks from the website if the data is updated or not, and if it is, then it takes that data and updates our database to add for us to have the most relevant information and the most latest information so we can give the most accurate results on the front end. And I think that's it for the back end as well. So Adriana, do you have anything else to add? Oh, we good.
I think we're good. We got our digital ocean, which was able to deploy on our first try for front end, but right now we're facing a bit of issues as we've added more to the code, so we're working on fixing that. But now the back end works, but we're expecting in the next sprints to be adding to the front end and connecting the two, and it'll come out to be a really good product. I think that's all for the